Welcome to this GeoGebra tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn how to draw a triangle using GeoGebra. And also, we will learn how to determine the measure of the angles and the sides of the triangle using the same application. So to start with, all we have to do is to use our browsers and open geogebra.org. So in this case, I will be using an online version of GeoGebra. However, there is also an offline version for this. Okay, so as we open geogebra.org, this is what will appear on our screens. On the left side, we have here Home, Newsfeed, Resources, Profile, People, Classroom, App Downloads, and so on. Now let's start using GeoGebra. To do that, let's click Start Calculator. Okay, so this is what will appear on your screens. On the left side, we have here several icons, Algebra, Tools, and Table. For this session, we will mostly be using Tools. So let's explore more about this. Okay, by clicking Tools, these options will appear. We have Basic Tools, Edit, Media. Okay, and let's continue dragging this down for a bit. Okay, so after Media, we have Measure, Transform, Construct, and we also have here Lines. Then moving further downward, we have here Circles. How about we click More? Okay, so if we click More, it will give us other options. So we have Circles, Conics, Transform, then also other functions. Okay, so those are the icons that we can see here in Tools. Okay. And also, as you can see here, there is a grid that we can use. We can also drag this grid according to how we want our figures to look like. So for me, I will be using this part of the grid. Okay? Now let's start making the triangle. Using tools, let's look for polygon. Okay, let's just look for it slowly. Okay, so here is polygon, and then all we have to do is click it. Then as you click it, it will show some instructions as well. Okay, so let's click here again. And for example, I want my first vertex to be here, my second vertex here at this point. Then let's say the third vertex is here. Then let me connect it back to point A. Okay, so we now have a triangle. That's quite easy, right? So the triangle that we have is triangle ABC. Okay, so now that we have a triangle, what I want to do next is to determine the measure of its angles and its sides. So how about if we start with the measure of the angles? To do that, let's just use tools again, then look for measure. Okay, so we have here angle. Okay, so let's click this. And then, for example, if I want to measure angle BAC, all I have to do is just click the vertices, starting from B, then I have here A, then C. Okay, so that's quite easy. Now, here is the measure of angle BAC, and it's represented by alpha. The measure of this angle now is 86.5285 and so on in degrees. Okay? Next, how about angle C? Okay, using three vertices again, let's click A, point A, then C, then B. So angle ACB. Now for angle C, it's represented now by beta, and the measure of the angle is 39 and so on in degrees, of course. And lastly, how about for angle CBA? Okay, so the measure of that angle is 53.91164 and so on. It's quite long, right? In degrees. Okay, so that is how you determine the measure of the angles of the triangle. Now, how about the sides? How do we determine the measure of the sides of the angle of the triangle? To do that, using tools again and then measure, let us now click distance or length. Okay, so as we click this, an instruction will also appear in the dialog box. So by clicking distance or length, we can now determine the measure of each side. For example, side A, B. Okay, so it automatically displays the measure of the side. How about for side A, C? Okay, so for side AC, it is equal to 8.55 and so on. Then for side BC, let's click BC. Okay, so that's it. So the measure of side BC or the length of side BC is 10.57 and so on in decimals. Now, we have this basic triangle. However, if you want to make some adjustments, for example, on how the labels are placed, the color of the triangle, we can also do that. In this case, I want to adjust the placement or the position of the labels. For example, okay, so to do that, let's look for basic tools and then move. Just click move. Okay, so we can adjust where we want to put the labels. Just drag it, okay? Then drag it here. For example, here. I can drag this one here. Okay, this one as well. Okay, so it really depends on how we really want our figure to look like. Okay, so aside from that, we can also adjust the triangle itself. How about if we try to drag point A and put it somewhere here? Okay, so as you can see, the measure of the angles and the sides also adjusts based on how we drag or how we adjust the placement of the points. So how about if I drag point B somewhere here, then I want point C to be, okay, just wait a moment. I want point C to be here. Okay, so we can easily adjust our triangle. And the measure of the angles and the sides automatically adjusts as well. Okay. Another thing that I want to try is to make the color of the triangle different. For example, let's start with the side. Okay, so I want, let's say, side AC to be red. So to do that, all I have to do is just click it, side AC. And as you can see, the side is being highlighted. Now, as I click it, several options appear. All I have to do is just click these three dots, then click Settings. Okay. Now, I want to change the color, for example. Okay, and then choose perhaps red. Okay, so now side AC is red. So you can explore more and make your triangles more attractive if you want, based on your preference. Okay. Another thing that I want to try is this icon here. The icon for settings, you can also use this one. If we click this icon, okay, several options will appear again. There's show axis, show grid, snap to grid, clear all traces, zoom to fit, and settings. How about if we click or if we uncheck show axis? Okay, so if we click that, the axis will disappear. And also, how about for show grid? For example, I don't want to use any grid. All I have to do is to click no grid. Okay, so the entire grid will disappear. However, we can still make adjustments to our triangle depending on how we want. Okay, then if you want to use the grid again, all you have to do is to click settings and then perhaps check again or click show axis. And then if you want to show the major grid lines, you can also do that. Just click it. Okay, and it will automatically appear. Okay, so that's basically how we draw a triangle using GeoGebra and also how we determine the measure of its sides and angles. Okay, so let's explore more about GeoGebra and be creative on how we use it. I hope you like this tutorial. Thank you.